we're a super high velocity company. So this would be great for anybody who, I almost feel bad for the companies that have a 12-month sales cycle because they almost haven't really gotten to see the impact that all the work they're doing has done, where we get to see it in real time. So we have a 5-day sales cycle. Right now we're running like 2 days. Wow. And my AEs close 20 to 30 new logos a month. I have one project we did last year that we're actually like moving into another team. So I can show you some of what I'm working on and then show you a finished product as well.
GTM AI podcast with Jonathan Moss and Coach K, where you get the latest with AI and GTM today. GTM AI podcast with Jonathan Moss and Coach K. Tune in now, don't delay. Catch the future on
Privilege and honor to have the Mangomint Trivia Champion of 2025, Marchelle Rooney. How are you?
I am great. It's funny. I keep the Renee in my LinkedIn because that's how I can determine if somebody is just like doing an autofill, because it always says Marchelle Rooney, where if they're actually reaching out to me, it'll just say Marchelle. Yeah, that's me. VP of Sales at Mangomint.
I love it. This is a double privilege for me because obviously you guys are a customer momentum. Yeah. I always love having customer momentum on the podcast, but I had you on because, as you said before, I've heard this from several other people outside in the Momentum team, but you're the person who does a lot of these AI workflows and different things. You figured out a lot of stuff, which I love to hear that. And I'm really excited to see what you do. So this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, I think it's great that you have gone in that direction with the podcast. That is something that I get asked often. And my focus is obviously going to be like doing that with my own team. And yeah, I think it just comes from curiosity and like the mindset that everything is figure outable. And I'm just obsessed with that.
I do too. You're a fellow AI geek and I love it. You're my people, which is good. Tell me this, if someone is listening to the whole podcast, what are they going to get out of this lovely next few minutes of their lives?
I think I would like people to walk away with understanding what kind of mandate you can push to team members that are non-technical, that have never built anything, that will literally have them sharing this with your engineering team. And even your engineering team will be like, whoa, holy shit, how did you build that?
I love it. That's perfect. Now, the part that's my favorite, one of my favorite parts of the podcast is this question. Okay. I need the non-resume, non-LinkedIn version of who the heck is Marchelle. And by the way, your background is in like you were owner of Bluxom Salon. You're an education and training manager at Easy Hair Pro. So you've been in hairstylist and Mangomint, which again, I'm assuming is spa software and salon software for salon. So it makes sense to me, but like, how'd you go from obviously owning the salon to now being VP of sales? Like, I'd love to know the journey. That's the non-resume version, and then how you get to the AI geek stuff. Give me all the goods.
Yeah, I think from a young age, like I knew there's like this limited capacity of creativity in me. And I say this meaning like I loved the idea of doing hair. And I can think back to the early days. I was a competitive dancer in high school. So I've always been somebody who's competitive, but I was the one that would get to the competition 5 hours early and do everyone's hair. And it was like meticulous braids and meticulous curls and like everything with like precision. Fast forward to actually becoming a hairstylist, I worked in the type of salon where it was all around precision haircutting. So I was a hair cutter for many years. And I've always been somebody that like when I do something, it's okay, what's next? If I'm not growing, I'm borderline depressed. Like it's not good for me. And I got into hairdressing with this idea that I would still work in sales. And so I did. Easy Hair Pro is actually a hair extension company and manufacturer.
Oh, cool.
So I was hawking 22-inch hair extensions across the US and Canada for 10 years. And these are the types of services that cost $2,200. So when you're selling those day in and day out, you're in sales. And it's very much that in-person kind of boiler room mentality, because if I have a client come in or if I'm in a salon teaching, like I'm teaching them how to close. I'm teaching them how to close on these types of things. And, you know, you're doing it at scale. I'm teaching 30 hairstylists how to consultative sales, really. So it always was something I was interested in. And there came a point owning the salon where I realized there were a lot of things that I felt I should be able to do without being strapped to the business. So at
Right.
that time, fintech was just like this billboard in Austin or something. It wasn't really something that you had software, deep vertical SaaS that was POS integrated, that I could do payroll from the beach in France. Like I wanted freedom from being like strapped to the business. And so I decided there was like something else calling me. I didn't know what that was, but the first thing I needed to do was like redo the tech stack in the salon. Mind you, at that time, nobody knew what a tech stack was. If you were a salon owner, that was like a weird thing to say.
You're like,
I had my
Salon, what are you
team.
talking about?
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
my team on Slack. I was somebody who was like one of the early Gusto users in SMB. I always wanted things to be smooth and efficient, and I was obsessed with technology. So fast forward, I'm going to buy a point terminal. I don't know if you remember those.
Yeah.
And at the time we were using one of our competitors today, I found out that the point terminal that I was buying direct, I could not integrate because you had to buy it through them. And I was just like, fuck this. There's got to be something else out there. So I get this phone call from the gentleman who I bought my point terminal from. And he goes, I can't vouch for this company, but we just built a cloud bridge connection with them through Point. And so they'll be using Point as their payment terminal. I don't know too much about him. CEO seems like a nice guy. So I call the number on the website. Lo and behold, I'm giving him my credit card information to pay $75 a month for a subscription. He didn't give me a discount. That annoyed me, but he did drive down from LA and onboard my team the next day. And that was the CEO of Mangomint, Daniel. And when we met, there was just like that kind of that kismet moment where it was like, oh, he looked at what I was doing and was like, wait, you use Slack for your salon? And then started asking about my background. And I remember him taking me on this long walk, explaining to me fucking acronyms for 2 hours. So a
Right.
BDR is like this, and comparing it to like warfare. And then you have your ground troops, and this is what they do. And I'm like, yeah, this makes perfect sense. Let's do it. So fast
Yeah.
forward 8 years later, here we are. We just crossed 25 million as a company in ARR. And it feels brand new today. And I think that is the age of AI. Like it's this thing of so many questions now I can answer at a speed that I could only dream of 4 years ago. And so today feels like the beginning, even though we're 8 years in.
You know, it's crazy. We're going to look back at these days and go, man, can you believe we used to do it like that? Because
I
it's
mean, I
moving
think
so
that
fast.
today I was like ready to punch through the Claude Code terminal because there are already these things where I'm just like, "God, I can't believe I'm already impatient when I just analyzed what would have taken me hours of copy pasting."
All right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. But I think that is the mentality. Like that is the mentality you have to have when you are somebody that's just, you have to be growing. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. I'm geeked and ready to see what you have behind the
Yeah.
scenes for us. Where do you want to start? What do you want to begin with?
So I figured I could show a couple projects that my team has built in the past. I zeroed it down to what they've done in the past 2 weeks. And
Cool.
then I have a larger project that we did about 3 months ago. No, 4 months now. We rolled it out 4 months ago. And that's around like the sales motion, golden scripts. We're super high velocity company. So this would be
Nice.
great for anybody who, I almost feel bad for the companies that have a 12-month sales cycle because they almost haven't really gotten to see the impact that all
Right.
the work they're doing has done, where we get to
Yeah.
see it in real time. So we have a 5-day sales cycle. Right now we're running like 2 days.
Wow.
And my AEs close 20 to 30 new logos a month. I
Woo.
have one project we did last year that we're actually like moving into another team. So I can show you some of what I'm working on and then show you a finished product as well. I think one of the big things that maybe I'll start with is sharing a couple things that in the past could easily get away from you. Like we use Notion as like our internal, here's where your SOPs are, here's where your golden script lives. But
Mhm.
accessing information and ramping team members still felt really messy to me. And there was never a time, and like there was never a time where I would look at our Notion instance and be like, this is clean. And I realized we just never were going to get there. So one of the things, I'll share a couple projects here. So I'm going to, one of the things that we always struggled with was ramping team members in the product and having a way to know that what they had done was correct, was good, was whatever. So
Yeah.
this was a fun one that just launched this week. And this was built by my director of onboarding. The reason I think this one is so fantastic is because she was somebody that I plucked out of LinkedIn, who was a hairstylist near where I was. We didn't know each other.
Oh, it's fun.
And
Yeah.
she went cold outreach and attacked us. Fast forward, she's been with the company like 3 years plus. Marissa, forgive me, I don't know your start date, but that's not my strong suit. And she made a joke on LinkedIn recently. She's like, if you would have told me that fast forward 3 years, I'd be building in Claude Code, I would have literally something about like grabbing her blow dryer and just going back to blow drying. And I love that about her because she is somebody that like took this mandate of, hey, these are things we need to speed up. And then she just goes and builds it.
That's cool.
When this one launched, so this is specifically going through how to learn our product because our product is deep vertical SaaS. We do everything that a salon or spa needs to run their business. So you're not just learning about booking. And my expectation of the revenue org is that they're 100%. Like they know everything in the product. So she built this tool. You can see the time breakdown of each part of the product, how long it's going to take. So you can save your work here. You can work through everything that you need to learn. And then all of this progress gets submitted to the manager. So whoever that frontline manager is to walk them through that cadence. Each week is broken down into more complex topics within the product and basically has built our entire, it's basically like an LMS just for our product training. So this one is something that we had looked at buying. But then when we realized like the way our product is built, using the way Claude Code, you mentioned things change so quickly. Probably 4 months ago, we could not have done this. And now with the MCP with Notion, where all of our database is, and the ability for Marissa to go in there and make edits and build this thing, this was one we rolled out.
That's cool.
Another one.
So does this get fed back in? So like when someone puts in their name, they go through certification, this all gets tracked back to Notion?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. One of the things that I went through with the managers was I'm somebody that I micromanage the data, not the people. So if I see that something isn't working, then we're going to drill in until we find the thing that's solvable. And then my team knows based on this one thing that I've noticed that if I do not see that things are being executed in a way that is usually better than how I think I would do it, which I think many sales leaders have this little bit of ego, like, oh, I could do that better, which sometimes is good. What I've noticed is they will see me start to jump back in. And that's how we have found the sweet spot of what they should go build. So if my managers see me harping on one thing, it's, that's the thing I need to go build because that's the question to answer. So I think Marissa she is that type of person for herself as well. So then this all, flows back. So she has access to that. And then each session has like a certification quiz. So you can get certified in Mangomint.
I love it.
Which is important because I'm not going, it's hard when you have, this is also brand new she built. So it's a fun one for you. We have found there's a lot of, Marissa is so, in the best way, annoyed that she cannot manipulate tasks after a call is processed through Momentum because she's very particular in the way that she operates. And the tasks for us are so nuanced. Her team does onboarding and implementation. And it might be that they
When you
need
say task,
to.
you're obviously not talking Slack or Salesforce tasks because that's what Momentum does. You're talking outside of those.
So it does, but it's like very nuanced. So for example, there might be a task set because it heard them say they need to order the hardware. But what she has done here is this is like phase 1 of what are all the things that need to be done that we can actually automate. And
Right.
so one of the things that I always tell frontline managers is, and I think this was, is it Jordan Crawford from Cannibal? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he tells people, and I tell everybody this, just record your day, all the things that you do, and then feed that in and ask Claude Code how it can help you do some of these. And so this was like the first iteration that I saw Marissa's brain kind of wrap around that of, yeah, we don't necessarily want to be sending the team in here. Like, I think longer term, we can make this live where we already work. But what
Right.
she's doing here is she can paste in a transcript from Momentum, and you're going to get a few things. So you're going to get an extraction of all the things that need to be done. But she also realized that there was a gap in we send hardware to companies. So she's
Right.
automated that too. So it's like a one click to build based on the conversation in the call. Hey, okay, you want to do the tall white stand with the white card reader. And then it's a
Right.
one click to order and ship, because we have all that data in the transcript as well, their address, all that stuff. So this basically covers the post call for her team that is beyond just like filling in the fields or setting the task. It's the actual action stuff.
Yeah.
That's been a fun one. So that's
That's
like phase one.
phase one.
What else? Okay, those are what's been going on now. But so the rewind back sometime in last year. So we had rolled out Momentum, I think midway through last year.
Yeah.
And I was really involved. Marissa actually owned that rollout. And so you'll see like her face on a lot of the created by.
See those stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And a couple of things that we realized pretty quickly was, hey, what'd you guys update?
Something. There.
So something good. So one of the big ones was we started to see an uptick due to enhancements in the product. So we're seeing really great things come out of the product, and we're seeing win rate go up because I could attribute it to that. But what we had to do was change the words we were using when we came into certain things. So we started with the demo golden script project. So this was the big one that Noah, he's actually one of our frontline managers. So he oversees a pod of AEs. And what he did was analyzed, and at this time, 6 months ago when he did this, he was like manually pulling these transcripts out. And I think he used ChatGPT for the initial iteration.
Right.
But what he did was analyze those transcripts, found the commonalities in like some of the objections we were able to drop. And then we had some new ones. We analyzed the top closing scripts. And then
There
we
you go.
rolled out our new golden script. The way
Nice.
we train that is we use Avara, which is a simulator. I even took those. And then that's how I think about it too, is like anything we're rolling out, I got to go beat it first. Like I need to pass it, because I also need to make sure we're not rolling anything stupid out. Like I still
Right.
believe so deeply in like, I don't want to hear something that is just, I've seen crazier shit out there, and I don't want that team that is saying some
Right.
wild shit just to get a deal. So we roll this out. This is the transcript of like my calls using the golden script. These things are all built in Notion. So Noah goes in, he builds what that is. Here's exactly how that might sound. And we take it from here. We layer it into Avara. This gets assigned to all the AEs. You've got to have a passing score by this point, and to keep yourself in the round robin for getting those demos that are booked with you. But you go in, you build the muscle memory, and then we layer on making sure you adhere to it. So that's where we have those signals set up. So inside, I can get the exact details. Hey, there was a couple instances where this person was off script. One of the things that I love is this then becomes the conversation. We actually thought we would split this out, but it becomes how my frontline managers and I communicate, because
Right.
we debate it out. Were they off script, or holy shit, they were so off script, but they still won the deal? So now let's analyze that. Let's go a little deeper there. So this was one that from the time we rolled this out, now we had product improvements as well. Like our velocity on the product team has been phenomenal in this past year. And then we roll out this where we're training everybody on this. From the beginning of 2025 to today, we've had a 8% increase in win rate. So
Like you're saying, like from 25 to 33, like that kind of percentage change? What do you
Yeah, we
mean?
started at 29, and by the end of 2025, we had an 8% increase in our win rate.
That's amazing. That's really good.
Amazing. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So it's just the thing that I keep thinking about is why isn't everybody just like deep in it, on it, like playing with this?
Right, right.
And I realized when I spoke with somebody the other day in one of our portfolio companies, in one of our investors, Altos, referred me to, it is the difference between just like that first step, like just
Right.
diving in and figuring it out. So one of those for me recently was around our BDRs, where we had a similar problem to solve. So I figured this could be a start where I just could show how I've been like brute forcing my way through
Mm,
some data challenges and what I
right.
did to do a similar thing that we did with our AEs 4, 5, 6 months ago.
I love it. Loading, wait for it.
So we use Nooks, lovely product. Really actually stoked with a lot of what they have been rolling out. We're actually using their sequencer, which I think is still in beta. I'm not even sure. So we dropped Outreach. We're now using Nooks for that for our BDR team. So you're always going to hit these things where there's like some limitations. What I realized recently was we have changed the way we do outbound. So we didn't do any outbound until 2025. I actually had listened to, we're also in the SaaS portfolio, and he was like, you got to talk to Kyle. And I had, I think, one conversation with him, listened to him on a couple podcasts, and I was like, this is like literally our customer is like the wife of the customer he's selling to. We could do this the
Right.
same way. We just got to get their
Right.
cell phone number. So we went all in. We built out our TAM database, our wonderful data team did. And we built out this like MTS. For us, that's multi touchpoint strategy with our marketing team. So if you are a waxing boutique, we're going to send you, I joke that we're sending them trash, but we literally sent them like waxing sticks with Mangomint on them, little pins that say, I'd
Right.
wax that, cute stuff. They get that. Day later, BDR calls. Those campaigns were changing so much last year. And just recently, it occurs to me, we have not updated our golden script. We don't know why the fuck we're getting demos. We don't have the same
Right.
pattern interrupts. I don't even know what's going on.
Right.
Then I realized I can't export any of this. So old me would have been like, hey, cool, let's get in here and copy paste until my head falls off. You'll notice this little orange outline if you haven't used it. So what I ended up doing today was taking Claude.
Good old
So
Claude.
starting in the chat, this is where Claude comes in. Let's see. I think we were in my old one. Yeah. So we'll go back to my personal.
There you go. Cowork. There you go.
There you go.
Yep.
So we started in here and just started like asking, if I can't do any of this, how do I do it? What Claude then does is figures a way to hop in here. So you're using it live in the browser with the Chrome extension, and it went in and it's just pulling all of these. It ended up taking, I had to restart about 3 different times because shit still breaks. By the time it actually pulled the 212 transcripts that I was looking at, because I was analyzing from November, it ended up taking 3.5 minutes. So now I have a JSON of all of these transcripts. And that's when I brought that into the code terminal and analyzed them here. This is where we're getting the patterns. What were the main objections? What were the main interrupts that were used? And then I did this a couple times because I also realized when I came back through, I forgot we had just gotten our enterprise plan. So then I like did it again over here and had a new result, which is interesting, but true. And then I broke things down by the different objections we got, the ones
Cool.
that were overcome, pulled those out. And so you're just talking to it. Like there's zero technical skill needed aside from the fact that you have to be relentless and know what you want out of it. And then I had it look at the battle card gaps. So based on the calls, another great thing about Nooks is those alive battle cards. So Nooks hears you on the phone, competitor comes up, boom, it pushes you the battle cards, but inevitably you're going to be missing some. So we analyzed those. And so this is pretty much this is what I was working on today, and then paused here when we got on the call. But where we were at was like, okay, we have some missing battle cards. We have some objections that we have to understand. Are they regrettable, meaning we could have overcome them? Or are they things like some of the things that we are talking about with the finance team? Do you have a loan through another software? Those are things that other competitors use to be sticky. How can we overcome those?
Right.
And now I have to decide, what the hell do I do with all this? And I have two goals that I want to pull out of this particular project. One is I want to be just as clear as I am with our AE team on why we book demos as I am that why we win deals or how we win deals. So I want to come out of this with a solid golden script. And then I want to make sure that those live battle cards are all up to date and minimized, because if there's too many words, they don't get used well. So that way we can start working. This is also something that I probably won't share, but we'll basically be live with the BDRs so we can enhance those things in real time based on competitor, based on vertical, because we serve sub verticals within ours. And then again, those will go into with the Nook simulator. How do you build the muscle memory around it and roll that out? So I'll pause there and we can kind of go deeper into any part.
Oh, how do you know where to start with this? There's so many goodness. I love it. What do you find? So your use case with Momentum is obviously, so you're not, Momentum, as far as I know, because Nooks doesn't have this integration yet.
Oh my gosh.
Is not integrated.
And I don't know if they will. And hey, this is just to be fair. Like I love all the products we have, but the reality is we bought Nooks under the impression that the API was going to be different than the API that it's actually going to be. I look at things as don't worry. I never worry about what's coming. Because like my dream world when we bought Momentum is that whole chain from BDR would be in there. And then when it's not, it's like you don't pause there. Like you don't wait. You don't sit around, just figure it out with what you have. So that does suck because getting the notes we want in there for the AEs and also like having the Slack integration, like that whole instance is a complete game changer. Like when you have a 2 fucking day sales cycle, you need to know the moment it has gone off the rails. Yeah.
Some of the things you are doing are definitely things on the roadmap because we've been talking about doing something. We're not sure we're going to call it momentum artifacts, but it's kind of like what you talk about, where you could query and visualize and that kind of stuff, like you and Claude. But here's my question for you: because some of the things, like you said before, every point solution is going to have a limit, and with a Claude Code, it's open to you and your imagination, right?
Yeah.
What do you, when you're looking at different problems that you're solving, because just like what Jordan said, you go through your day and figure out where Claude Code can help you. The other side of it is there are things that you're doing day to day that may not be the things you should be doing to actually lift the button of revenue.
Yeah.
How do you decide of where to point AI at that's obviously going to help your time, but also lift up revenue like the 8% win ratio? How do you do that?
So for one, we have every week we focus on having the entire, like anyone who manages people, you have to identify your MIT. So we have this company-wide mandate. Yeah. The MIT is the most important thing when it comes from keep the main thing. And I always say, here, I'll pause this for a second so then I can switch some stuff. But I always say, okay, the main thing, if you're in the revenue org, it should be that one thing that such by doing this one thing, you will then impact all of the downstream things that affect increasing revenue. So when somebody is going to be building something, so one other problem we're solving for right now is we are always unseating another software when we bring someone over. So even just those 212 transcripts, about 110 of them expressed the lift that it would take to go from their current software to ours. Now, there is development time that would be necessary to do these things at a scale at which are different than how we already do them, because some is manual, some is automatic. Some softwares do not, they literally hold your data hostage as a means of being sticky. So we have to decide, like, where do we point resources to make that happen? So one example of this recently was we had a really senior engineer that told us one particular import that would win deals was not possible. And I do not fault him for it. It was just almost the problem of knowing too much and having gone down roads that are very painful before with APIs and so on and so forth, where we have someone who is very junior, whose job is to manipulate data, and she solves this problem in a week's time.
Right.
And it was the blessing of not knowing too much and believing that anything is
Right.
possible. So when I think of in the revenue org and why I push even down to a frontline people manager so hard to find the things that are annoying, that are repetitive, that don't require such deep nuance. So one of the biggest challenges we're going through with the BDRs right now, they're going to, regardless of the list that they're handed that is already prospected and scored and looks great, they're clicking on the website and going, I don't like the website design. I don't think there'll be a good conversation. I can't very well tell Claude, we are working on this, but it's not easy to tell an LLM, does this website have a good vibe?
Yeah.
It's all subjective. So, okay, maybe we pull back from that. But what's one step before that where it is a task that can be repetitive and easy that we could solve, and then go and try and solve it yourself? Because if you even just come up with the MVP that tells our head of engineering the signal of, holy shit, you just built this. And then I've even had engineers ask my team members, wait, so did you code any of this? And they're like, I just told Claude. Like, they still can't believe that the non-technical. So that's been really fun on the team to see those teams merge, because what will then happen is the thing that really does solve the problem bubbles up, the thing that moves revenue forward, that imports customers' information faster. Now it makes a lot of sense to get an engineering mind on it and make that even better. Maybe it needs to be built into the Mangomint product, whatever. But that's the unlock. And that's why it's so important that the actual the people who are closest to the customer are like messing around and finding out.
It goes back to the whole point about the front deployed engineer, but it's that same concept, but it's just your team, instead of doing it for tech, it's doing it for revenue tasks and jobs and that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we also have a really weird way of hiring. I say it's weird, probably just because it's new to us. So we don't go into the year with a headcount plan. We take the approach of like selective hiring. And I think it is really attractive to just want to throw people at it that are smarter at it than you. And there is the time and place for that. Absolutely, by all means. However, what we have learned is a lot of the things that we need to figure out to go smooth so we can go really fast, it would take so long to ramp somebody that is more technical to understand the nuance of what we're looking for that serves our customer best, that we end up being able to do those things faster and then pull in where we need from there. And then we can make a really strong case for the hire we want to make.
Nice. I love that. Because that's a whole other story you could talk about, which is finding the people who have this non-fear, I guess you could say, of willingness to actually practice and try. Because you have to have that. When I have people go through the academy, I always tell them, like, the best question you can ask as you're going through AI is, I wonder if I could do this with AI. And then just trying, because it may not work, but the best way is you just got to chat with them. Hey, can you help me with this? And let's just see if we can do it. It may not work, but some of the best things I've found in AI has been me just going, I wonder if I could do this. And then most of the time, it's crazy.
That was pretty much today where I bounced back and forth between I'm in Claude Code and I'm pushing into analyzing this, but then you realize I actually need to go back to chat or co-work to do the browser tab to push into this. And how do I learn that? I asked Claude Code. Like, there's definitely a moment where I have to switch my brain from this thing of trying to either allowing the intelligence in that product to push you along, and just like letting go of the idea that things in the past that I wanted to muscle through, I don't have to. And that doesn't mean that I'm not doing something right.
Yeah. It does take a new muscle, because I don't know if you've been following OpenClaw at all, like the whole thing with OpenClaw. It's crazy. Not that I'm saying anyone should use it. You got to be very careful and make sure you have a secure line. But the point is, though, the capabilities and where things are going, like as it feels like Claude Code is going that direction more and more, it opens up this whole new world where you're thinking like, I don't have to do, like you said, muscle through so many things anymore. It's like it takes practice to think about, oh, I don't have to do this anymore, which is crazy.
And that's like the things that I shared today are pretty entry level, and I don't say that to scare somebody who actually hasn't entered, but I say that to say they are important for you to understand, because if you're an operator and you don't understand what's possible, one of the challenges that I have seen is companies right now that are AI native, they're entering the market, they're trying to find a VP of sales, a director of sales, and they're running into people who are still sharing frameworks of building quota the same way we did forever 2 years ago. I don't know. And that is to me like the first sign. I'm in conversations with people right now and I'm like, I have to walk out of that first conversation learning something that I didn't know a month ago, 2 months ago. I hear momentum a lot. And I've even had like investors be like, hey, I'm helping this company. What are some of the tools I should help them look out for when they're interviewing for VPs of sales? And I'm like, honestly, you should walk away learning 2 new tools. Don't worry about like the high level, like the big ones. Yeah, if you hear momentum, great, but have they deployed anything in there? Have they actually built something in there? Like just ask them, keep asking why until you understand what they were trying to do. And yeah, I think that is the future, is just like actually getting in, and this is how I spend my weekends. I think it's just what you got to do.
You're a fellow AI geek who loves this stuff. So I love you're just getting in there. Without you saying so, you're part of those people who's up at, I don't know, 10 o'clock at night playing with Claude Code going, what if we could do this? And you're playing with it and figuring out stuff. Am I right?
I go to bed at 8:45, but
8:30.
but I am probably up at 5 a.m. And my intention is, like I'm such a tech bro in that way where I'm like, I'm going to meditate. I still drink tequila though, so I don't ever leave that. But it's the thing of, this is a discipline that is now part of my routine every single day.
Yeah. And that's how it should be. It's a muscle you flex every day. I love it. Yeah. Marchelle, super impressed with what you're doing. Obviously, I always like to ask people like, what's the business impact of the tools you're using? But the one you obviously said, which is super impressive, is 8% over your 29% win rate, is awesome, because that is not easy to move, especially on a 2-day sales cycle. That's insane. So amazing job. Very proud of you. Best way people get hold of you. Are you okay if I share your LinkedIn link? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, all good. You can find me on LinkedIn. Or just text me.
I'll put your phone number on the internet and everyone will find it. It'll be great. Marchelle,
it's already there.
It's already there. You're an amazing customer. I love what you're doing. I'm very impressed myself, and just want to tell you thank you for joining in. You're amazing.
Thanks so much, Jonathan. So nice to see you.
Of course. You too.
Thanks for listening to the GTM AI podcast. Please follow, subscribe, like, comment, and come back for more.